No, I'm never wrong. I'm just kidding. Hey guys, Corey here, coming at you with another knife video. YouTube, do the stuff, like, whatever. Um, PM2, PM2. If anyone knows me, if anyone's been around for any amount of time, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of the PM2, and you might be having a hard time digesting that statement as I hold up my completely custom PM2, right? And you're like, wait, you got a knife decked out that you didn't like? Yeah, I did. As a matter of fact, that's why we're talking about this video, or that's why I'm making this video, because I got this knife. I got it customized, and I took guys at Way of Knife. They did a great job. I said, you know what? Give me a working finish. I did the whole creative freedom thing, and I said, you know what? Just don't make it too pretty. I'm gonna beat on this knife, so just do your thing, but don't make it too pretty. And the fact of the matter is, I've probably used this knife over the past 6 months more than I've used any other knife in my collection. Actually used, right? I'm not talking about paper on the desk, right? I'm talking about much more severe than that, like cardboard in the garage. Just half joke, but for real. One thing that I've never denied when it comes to Spyderco is the fact that they're great tools. They're not my taste, but they're great tools and they're great slicers. And on average, that's the thing that they do, right? They make knives that cut. Go figure, right? In a world of knives, they don't all cut very well. So when I decided that I was going to get a dedicated beater, I said, you know what? I'll get the slicer, right? If I'm going to beat up the knife, I'll take my PM2 with me. And if I want something fancier, I won't take the PM2 that day. And that's all there is to it. But what that has resulted in is me actually putting a lot of miles on this knife. And as such, I can kind of come back at it, give it a second look and try to reevaluate the things that I said before and maybe tell you guys if anything has changed. Here's what I will say. I don't want to belabor this and kick it out. Overall, I still generally feel the same way about this knife. All the statements that I made in my previous PM2 video, they pretty much stand still right where they were. But I tell you what, I have a newfound appreciation for this knife as an actual tool. As an actual tool. It's comfortable to use. Now, granted, this is with, one of my complaints was that the scales weren't contoured. I do have aftermarket Flytanium Lotus scales on this, and you know what? If you get one, I recommend you get the contoured Flytanium Lotus scales on yours as well. That being said, now it's comfortable. Now I like using it. I've always liked Spyderco's jimping. I think the Ergos are pretty good. For me, this knife fits my hand, and first and foremost, above all else, cuts like nobody's business. Now that's not really news to anyone. All I'm saying is that now that I've really put this thing, through some miles, I like it more. Now, instead of my off-grid knife Scorpion, when I want to beat up a knife, I beat up the PM2. And honestly, it's more pleasant to cut with. That's all there is to it. It's a thinner blade stock. It's got a more aggressive grind. Spyderco does their grinds very well. And you know what? Even if Spyderco's not your taste, here's what I'll say. Here's the thing that's different from the last video. Even if Spyderco is not your taste, I would encourage you to get one. It doesn't have to be a PM2. It doesn't have to be blinged out. It doesn't have to be super expensive. I would encourage you to go pick up a Tenacious, pick up a Delica, pick up a Para 3, whatever you want to do, right? They cut. And I don't think it's something that you can really have an appreciation for until you get one and until you use it. Don't just pick it up and fondle it and be like, yeah, I don't know, it's fine, right? Use it, right? Because I still don't think these things are super cute for what it's worth, right? And I still think that the standard versions should come with contoured scales. I think the sprint runs are BS. All the same stuff still holds true. As a user, yeah, this could be your user. This could be your one dedicated user. Now, again, relatively thin blade stock, relatively aggressive blade geometry, on the grind. Don't use it as a wrench. Okay, don't use it as a screwdriver, right? But come on, it's common sense. It's common sense. But yeah, as a knife, I don't know. I dig it. I like it more than I thought I would. Choking up, not too bad. You want to do some more fine work, you can choke up there. Grind yourself a choil. They don't come with choils. Still think they should come with choils, right? And then, I would say right now at this point, my primary complaint still with these things whether it's a compression lock or an axis lock. Oh, I know they're not the same. Great. But at the end of the day, you know, the compression lock is a lock where you can completely disengage it and the knife might not drop shut. Why? Well, it's running on washers, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Even just to get the knife to do this with some wrist, right? Completely deactivating the compression lock. I don't know if you guys can hear this. You hear that? Substantial blade play in order for me to get the compression lock to the point where I can close this with one hand, okay? And to me, I don't know, it's 2022. How long have we been making knives, right? I'm not an engineer, okay? Spyderco, figure it out, okay? I shouldn't have to have blade play for it to drop shut. Mine doesn't have blade play and it drops shut. Good for you. I don't know how long you've had that knife or what you've done to it. I've adjusted every screw on this knife. I've taken it apart, put it back together about 100 times. I put the original scales on it instead of the aftermarket scales. I've done absolutely everything. I've polished the washers. Everything. Absolutely everything I could do to this knife. It just won't drop shut without blade play. As a matter of fact, if I completely eliminate blade play, it's a two-handed closed knife. Even right now, with that much blade play, the fact that I have to yank it shut, wrong. But guess what? If all you're concerned with is using the knife as a tool, maybe you get rid of the blade play. Maybe you don't care that you have to two-hand close your knife because it's just a tool to you. At the end of the day, look, I don't know. Did I just spend 7 minutes saying a whole lot of nothing? Maybe, if you want to take it that way. But over time, this is kind of just my update on the PM2. I've come to appreciate the knife as a user, as a true user, as a knife that is meant to be a knife that is meant to cut things, not sit in a box and look pretty alongside the other 200 sprint runs that you've collected over the years. I get it. Okay? I'll say I get it. As a collector, as a knife enthusiast, do I think there are things that they can improve? Absolutely. All my old criticisms still stand true. But you know what? As a user, I'm there. Wholeheartedly recommend. If you've never tried a Spyderco, go get a Spyderco, give it a go. Hope you guys enjoyed this. See you next time. I don't know. Enjoy your Spydercos or something. Enjoy what you have. Love you. Bye. Love you. Bye.